Back. Hey! So, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. My shit sucks. And it crashes on me from time to time. And I haven't quite figured that out. I probably should have somebody take a look at that. But that's kind of like, it's the same thing as my body. I'm like, nah. Just let it rest. Let it sleep for a couple days.
I feel like, right? It seems normal.
Yeah, just crash every now and then. Like, done. Oh, lost all that work. That's done.
Yeah, we started at least a half hour ago, like 45 minutes ago, and unfortunately, we had some issues. We're running through some trials and tribulations. Nothing got saved, and we had a little start going, but we switched things out, and then I told Keegan, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with the first thing we did. So we switched back, and we essentially didn't change anything from what just happened.
Have you heard of insanity?
The computer's running again, so we had a crash over here. Not quite sure why. It could be because when you jam pack a boatload of like electrical components into a room, like there's a TV on over here for no reason, you know.
Oh yeah,
I turned like my Bluetooth off my phone, like thinking, I don't know, I'm an idiot. I'm like, it's wizardry over here.
Yeah, there's a lot of Bluetooth. I actually tried to link something in here earlier with Bluetooth, and when I opened my phone's Bluetooth, there was like fucking 30 items in this room, and I was like, that's not good.
You ever do that at the gym? You're trying to connect like wireless headphones, and you go to link, and there's like 7,000 fucking B12E and then a headphone logo SKR : blah blah blah. You're like, what the fuck are all these? Are these all these people's phones and headphones that like I'm picking up right now Bluetooth?
You know what I do?
That shit's giving us cancer for sure.
So when I go to the airport, we have these things called, on our iPhones. We have AirDrop.
Yeah.
So AirDrop like instantly drops the shit onto somebody's phone. So when we go to the airport, I take these fucked up, like last time we took video or a picture of Kumar, and I put a bunch of like animation on him, so it like his eyes were like Googled and they were going back and forth, and there was all this weird shit.
I think I saw something you posted that one time.
So I took that picture and I just opened AirDrop in the airport, and I like to just open it, and all these phones will show up because everybody has their AirDrop on and they don't know it, and I send it to them, and you see like all these people's phones like doo-doo-doo-doo, all across the whole fucking airport, and I just sit there and I just kind of act like I don't know what's going on, and they're all like, "What the?" Most of them deny it, but every now and then I get somebody that like will accept the picture.
Would you open it? I would open it for sure.
I don't know. You can probably get a virus,
dude. I answer every phone call. I mean, nowadays they got like the scam likely thing pops up, but I usually answer every phone call.
Like
whoever texts me, I fucking text them back. If I got an AirDrop, I'd be like, fucking yeah, I don't know, check it out.
Dakota's like, please be Miss Cleo.
You're talking about Miss Cleo.
Come on, man. I want to talk to Miss Cleo.
I can tell your future, boy. I can rub my hands on your bald head.
Mm-hmm. I create the spark and lightning off your eyebrows, son. So what were we going to actually talk about today? Luckily, the shit that we lost was just bullshit of talking about like being a kid.
Kind of like this, like what we're doing a little bit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like it was probably more organic and more, you know, I don't even want to say the word I was just about to use. My brain's getting better about stopping that. Like, that's not a word. Don't do it.
You have control.
Yeah, it's getting better. After another drink, it won't be very good.
I don't know. Sometimes it gets better. Like my dart game. If I play some darts sober, I'm okay. If I get a good buzz going, I was playing some darts the other day with a couple buddies, and he's like, I didn't know you were a dart god. I'm like, I wouldn't call it that because I'm not that good at all. I can beat like the layman.
That's darts. When you just like throw a dart between his fingers on the table and just go for it.
And then he tried to call me a dark shark, a dart.
You just whip a dart and like right between his fingers and like hope it goes there. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Fucking Bullseye, Daredevil, fucking Colin Farrell. He was a pretty good villain. I mean, he didn't do all the things we wanted him to do, but
we used to get kind of drunk at my buddies and stand like if that's the dartboard. We would stand there and like you'd lob them. You don't throw them hard. You'd lob them into the dartboard and we'd try to snag them before they hit the dartboard.
No, it sounds like fun.
And I know. So there's a guy that listens to this podcast. I pretty feel like it's religiously, and he's a good friend, and I love you to death, Brian. And he was the king of this. That kid, my buddy Brian, man, when we were kids, when we started drinking and stuff, Brian would get so wasted at parties. but I don't know if he was like playing us or what he was doing. Cause even when we played basketball, he was the kid that always would like run and just like end up sliding across the floor. He made amazing plays, but he would just be always on the floor. Like he never got out of a game without just complete dust.
He's just loose.
He's just crazy.
running.
Yeah, he's just all over the place. He's just maniac, right? So he would get wasted at parties. And like I remember this one night, he was like in a stairwell. It was like one of those stairwells that come down and kind of turn at the bottom. So it had like a platform, and he was sitting there.
Landing.
And my buddy took this like dog ball or something, and he threw it at him as fast as he could. And Brian was just kind of like down like this, and he just snagged it, bro. Like he was an amazing. Every sport he was a catcher when we played baseball, but dude, he would snag it. And I remember I got in a fight that night, and I went out front, and this drunk kids getting drunk, you know. I climbed a tree, like to the top, and the whole night.
Kids do.
Yeah, the whole night, Brian was so drunk, we got him a walker, like one of those walker, like a handicap walker, and he had like the little basket in the front, so we just put his beers in the front. So he like walkered out to the tree, and next thing you know, like Brian is literally in the same position he was in the stairwell, but like 25 feet up in this tree with me.
Oh, nice.
And people are like, Keegan, get Brian out of the tree. Like, you can't have him up there with you. And I was like, I didn't even ask him to come up. He just like climbed up.
He got up here, man.
Brian, I don't remember why what we were talking about before that, but Brian had something to do with it. I don't remember what it was.
Oh man, I hate when that happens.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Shout out to Brian. I don't remember what we were talking about, but it was you.
We cheersed earlier. We got to cheers again real quick because we started the podcast.
We'll start it again. I want to give a shout out to all the people that took the time to listen to it. The last podcast and any of the podcasts, you know, my friends, my family, any random person that's run across this on YouTube or on Facebook when I post these, you know, I boost them sometimes so they go to a bunch of different people. And shout out to any of your friends that took the time to listen to two idiots sitting in a room drinking drinks on a Sunday morning. So we really appreciate that. One of the cool things that I've got to kind of gain personally from this podcast, other than just having fun with my friends, is I got a cool text message the other day from Bob in California. And his daughter has been clean for over a week now. She's been in a facility.
That's good.
She's, and I don't want to like spill too much on their personal stuff, but I'm rooting for her. So she is, they've done all the legwork to find out if her insurance covers her going to a facility that can keep her there long term, a few months to really
long-term inpatient type.
Yeah. To just try to get her, cause she wants to. It sounds like this is something that she wanted to do. It's not anything she was pressured to do, but I think the support from everybody has been really amazing, and I think she's seen it. So she's trying to do better for herself. But she's going to be at a place all the way through August 1st. So when she gets out, hopefully everything starts to go good. I'd like to have her on the podcast by the end of the year to just kind of talk with her.
That'd be a crazy follow-up with from the Shayla episode.
Yeah, man, we're all rooting for her. And the thing that kind of gets me is back in the day, we kind of shit on people that went down that road and had that struggle. And, instead of shitting on them, we're all rooting for them to get better, because we understand underneath that is still a really good person.
Yeah, there's still some treasure underneath that.
Like, how many times have you seen a guy that was an alcoholic for years doing crazy shit, never drink another drop? Like, I made all those jokes about Brian, but I know Brian's a really good father. He takes care of his kid. He's not drinking and flopping around. He wasn't an alcoholic, but he toted the line a few times.
Went a little hard.
But why do we allow a guy like that to be able to do that? And then it's okay that he sobers up and takes care of his family.
Right.
So I think at the same time, we need to support these people that are trying, because she's trying. She really wants to get better. And we started a GoFundMe because Bob's trying to get a place that has an extra area that she can have somewhere to stay when she gets out. That is her own space, but at the same time, Bob's there to kind of
she kind of have her own studio, within his house type thing.
So we're working on some stuff right now. We started a GoFundMe. If anybody takes the time to throw a couple bucks in that, man, I thank you so much, because he really needs it. I mean, he took a pay cut and a demotion at his job to get out there and to do what he's doing, and I admire him.
His fatherly love.
I know my dad would do that for me. My dad would do anything for me to succeed. So I see that same thing in Bob, and I admire that. So You
That's
know, shout
awesome.
out to him. I know he listens to this, so shout out to you, buddy. I love you to death, and I appreciate everything that
Thanks
you're
for
doing
listening,
out there.
Bob.
Thank you.
Hopefully one of these days I'll get to meet you.
You will. You will. So back onto the lighter side of things. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the Birdie Dyke podcast. And, you know, we got Kota here, so we're going to have some more fun. I enjoy having him.
Keegs and Kota show
It's
today.
the Keegs and Kota show. And you got to watch the fights last night, man. I kind of fucked up.
Yeah. Well, you know,
I
Keegan
was
had a lot of fun
exhausted.
last night. He went to the lake, or yesterday, I guess, all day.
Yeah.
Went to the lake, and yeah, you do the lake thing, have a blast. You don't look too burnt today, so that's fortunate because
I pull it off well.
I get a little burnt, like painfully. It hurts a little on my skin, but then I get really brown. I just get dark.
Yeah.
But the fights last night, man. I don't want to go like super in depth, but so long story, shortish, longish. The undercard, the prelims were actually some really great fights on there. Some good knockouts.
The ones that were on the card, the ones that were actually on
the prelims. So the ones that I believe were on ESPN Plus before you had to get the pay-per-view.
Right.
There was actually some really good fights on there, man. There's some good knockouts. There's some good bangers on there. That was good. Main card. And I'm not going to sit and like waste everyone's time talking about a ton of UFC for too long. Tatiana Suarez won her fight. That was cool against the fuck's her name? Amanda Nunes' girlfriend, I want to say. Ansaroff is her last name. It was a good fight. It was a banger of a fight.
Ladies are putting it on out there.
Ladies have been putting it on lately.
Mm-hmm.
And then fast forward to like what everyone wants to hear about, the Cowboy and Tony Ferguson fight.
That's what I was waiting.
Everyone's waiting on that. That's the people's choice right there. That's like that was one of the best matchups that we've been waiting on for a long time. Everybody. And it was the first round was a lot of trading back and forth. I'm a huge Cowboy fan, so I was like, I'll give that first round to Cowboy. But it could have gone either way a little bit, but I think maybe significant strikes. And he was being the stalker. He was like progressing and working hard. I give it to Cowboy. Second round, Tony Ferguson came out and lit Cowboy up pretty good. Landed a lot of shots. They still traded, but Tony Ferguson was looking a little more clean, a little more crisp, landing better shots. Right at the end of the second round, the bell dings, and it didn't look blatant. It was just in the heat of the moment. Tony Ferguson pops Cowboy with a shot right in the nose. Just a straight jab right down the pipe, right to the nose. Cowboy's hands are to the side. He had him up in front of him, bell dinged, and he threw his hands to the side and caught one right in the face. Whoa.
And that's kind of his fault too, man. I don't give a fuck if the bell.
Little his fault.
You
little
need
his
to
fault.
Keep your fucking hands up.
Yeah.
I don't care if the bell dings or not, bro. Keep those hands up.
And it was too in the heat of the moment. The ref can't catch it.
If you've
like,
already lost that round, then fuck it. You ain't. What are you gonna lose another point? Like, keep your fucking hands up.
Yeah,
if you got a
exactly.
strike at the end, man, you can't. That exactly what happened.
Yeah. So, and I think his nose was already broken from early on, like in the first minute of that second round. He kept, he had his hands in front of him bobbing. He kept touching his nose, kind of whiffing by it. You could tell something was wrong with his nose, a little blood going down his mustache there. But so that wasn't really on Tony Ferguson's fault. He should have been a little more attentive, but bad shot after the bell. Well, they go back, and anyone who's watched boxing for a long time knows a lot about fighting. As a veteran, Cowboy definitely knows and just wasn't thinking about it. When you have a broken nose, your sinuses that go through the front of your face, up through your forehead and everything, when you've got a broken nose, you can't blow your nose. That back pressure, like when you plug one side to do a snot rocket, that back pressure shoots back through that sinus when there's a break in there. And Cowboy's eye shut immediately, his right eye. The left side of his face looked fine. He actually looked pretty good when the camera was on the left side of his face. The right side of his face was Hunchback of Notre Dame, fucking
Captain, he looked mauled
Captain
up.
Chunk. He was mauled up. His eye,
he looked like an old Randy Couture
as
fight.
soon as he shot that snot rocket and blew his nose, his eye just shut immediately. But they're gonna run it back. Tony Ferguson said, I don't like the way this win went down. I fucking love Cowboy, and I think we've got a lot more to offer to the fans. And he's like, we'll run it back. So they're gonna run that fight back. That'll be super cool. Everyone's gonna be waiting on that one even more than they're waiting on this one.
You're gonna get a real money fight out of that.
Yeah,
where I think that could be because that wasn't the main card.
That was on the main card, but it wasn't.
Or that wasn't.
It wasn't the main or the co-main event.
Yeah. What was
so?
It?
This was like
event?
the people's choice. The main event. All right. Well, fast forward real quick. Let's go to the co-main. Valentina Shevchenko. I think Russia, one of those Ukraine, Russia, something over there.
Fuck, those guys
She's
are crazy.
she's a fucking goddamn animal. I think she's been like doing practicing martial arts since she's like 7 years old. She was like, placing in tournaments and winning shit as a kid, like 12, 13, like Russian sambo, wrestling, like all these things. So she's a fucking badass. She fought Jessica I. Shevchenko's the champ. Jessica I is the number one contender. She was, she's got no problem handling anybody in that weight class. No problem handling Jessica I. The way that ended, I'm assuming, I haven't looked at, I'm assuming they won. She got knocked out of the night. She kept throwing this left, like oblique kick, side kick, kept kicking her in the ribs, and then she threw a head kick with that left, caught her right where like the bone on the side of your temple meets like the meat where the temple is. She had this mouse under there, this big old knot from getting kicked in the head. She was out for like 3 minutes. So she got knocked out, arms, she collapsed completely, just fell back. Like she was sitting in a chair and there's nothing there and she was out cold. Back of her head smacks the ground, like another concussion after getting kicked in the head. And her arms were locked up like a W. And then they slowly went down and she was out for, 2 minutes, 3 minutes is a long time. Like normally you get knocked
shit.
out, it's like 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and then you get up and it's another minute or two of getting your bearings and trying to figure out where you're at and stand straight. She was out on the ground for, I want to say 2 minutes. It seemed like a really long time.
Ugh.
She was out 2 or 3 minutes, and then she got up and she was still wobbly. She had to sit on a chair, and she had that big old knot.
Man, it's ridiculous that people fucking the fighters, dude. It just
take that.
It's
damage.
like it's a perfect example of something that is real hard work. Not saying like playing in the NBA or baseball or any of that's not hard work, because obviously only a few people get selected to do that shit.
1%ers.
But you can pick anything and get the creme de la creme.
Oh,
you can get to that anywhere.
Oh, you could find the top shuttlecock, like fucking birdie.
You look at
player.
hockey though, same thing like UFC. You look at hockey; those guys aren't getting paid what the NBA is getting paid.
No.
And I looked at fucking Chara the other night after the game.
Broken jaw.
Ripped, bro. He had a fucking space missing of his face, missing, and he came back out and sat. And I wanted to bring this up because we were watching the basketball game the other day while we were on the phone. You and I were talking.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the guy's name, and I apologize because I should fucking know his name. But the point guard for Toronto took that blast to the face, that elbow.
That elbow.
And it chipped his front tooth.
The tooth was laying on the court, like inside the key.
Yeah, and it like split his eye open, and it rocked his shit, dude. Broke his nose, I think, or whatever. But he came back out, and I even said it to Crystal. I was like, yeah, because that's a Mexican guy right there. I was like, anybody else is staying in the back from in an NBA. They're not coming back out after that. He is like part of the homies. Like he is coming back out. They're like boxers, bro. They're not.
That's pride.
Yeah, he's coming back out. I said, but normally you don't see that. I said, like you saw Chara come out and sit back with the team.
That's hockey though.
But that's hockey. That's my point.
Yeah.
And they don't make as much money. And then it goes down a tier. So my point is if you entertain like a script almost, like if you put on a show like the NBA does, that's why your pay scale is up here. And the football does, they have little dances that they do, and they do all their bullshit, and they have all the media time where they're constantly on TV and guys are doing commercials. You got Good Morning America or whatever Michael Strahan does. I mean, you got faces everywhere.
Michael Strahan.
Yeah, Michael Strahan. So my point is though, and then you get back to UFC. And these are the friggin' toughest of the tough that work their hardest. Like they're getting real CTE, bro. Like you're talking about a knot right here. Like, bro, that's real CTE.
Well, you know what? And this is debatable, and I'm no scientist. I think, and what a lot of people think, is there's actually a lot more CTE, like in football, with the amount of weight you're hitting somebody with, because you can get concussions getting hit in the chest, and even a slap shot of a hockey puck to the chest they show signs of concussion from it. Whereas getting struck with a limb, and even with that hockey puck, there's no weight behind it. There's not as much weight behind it, I should say. There's definitely power behind it. But those, like a linebacker meeting a fullback inside of the hole on like a line on a running
padding,
play,
so you can hit
on a
harder.
running play, that's a car accident. I mean, it's a small car accident every time. Getting kicked in the head, now, not saying that there's not a lot of damage being done there, especially when your shin is like a baseball bat and you just get to dome someone with that thing. But it's not carrying the weight of, the amount of pressure and the follow through with that is like getting hit in football. But there's definitely CTE happening all over the place. Fucking babies falling out of high chairs and shit,
Dude. But everybody does want to see somebody get hit, because I'll tell you right now, they promoted that new Mike Tyson hot boxing episode with Whack 100, and they promoted it by, instead of putting it out first, because he didn't think probably a lot of people were going to do it, but they know Whack for punching people and getting in fights, and he had controversial comments supposedly about something. They staged some shit like they got in a fight. And like
Really?
Tyson fucking floored him, and he had to get medication. He showed like pictures of the pill bottles, and he trolled the internet with it.
Oh, wow.
And it worked, because I listened to I've had the whole podcast on, the whole hour and a half, just to see if Tyson did snap and get up and whoop his ass.
Oh, wow.
And it never came. And I was like, those fuckers got me.
I got
And
you.
it's because everybody wanted to see Tyson just unleash, like, dude.
Well, everybody wants to see Tyson now just hit anything. You see that video? I don't know how old it is, but he's definitely like
When he was hitting the bag.
in his older age. No, he's like at a bar with like two like younger, taller white dudes or something. And they're sitting there talking to him, and he ducks down, throws his shoulders up, and just throws like these two right hooks and a jab and a hook. And you're like, oh shit! When you see the video,
when
it's like a
he's just
5-second
showing
clip.
him. Yeah, he's just showing him like
It's like a
yeah,
5-second clip.
You just got and he I've seen
Yeah,
that
and you
shit.
watch it, and you're like, that motherfucker still got
he
it.
still got it.
He
All the
still got
steps,
it.
he ain't lost a step. I ain't trying to catch a Tyson jab.
No way.
But dude,
I'll let Tyson punch me fucking the 32nd of next February. That's when.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I want to go to the Tyson Ranch.
That would be awesome.
I'm not one for going to because I don't feel like it's a resort for like.
Is it an actual resort? Like
Oh
that?
yeah.
Oh wow.
Horseback ride, all kinds of.
I know that
crazy stuff.
he has like a
It's not open yet, and I think that they're really doing the same thing as like that episode, as they're pumping it. Like every person that comes on is like, oh, can I talk about it? Can I talk about what you guys like? They're like doing that on purpose, I think, to get more investors, because it's going to be expensive, and I think it's going to be a marijuana. I know it's going to be a marijuana friendly.
Yeah, well, that's what
they're
doing.
Ranch,
that's what they're doing.
But I
with Tyson
think they're
Ranch.
doing it in Florida.
Oh, that's weird. I thought it was in California.
Maybe it is.
It's in California.
Is it in California?
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
Well, that'd be a shorter ride for me.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm just be interested, because now that it's in California though, because I'm thinking it's not going to be as many. Like when you go to a resort, I feel like I don't really fit in with any of the people at the resort, and the like people that I might fit in with are like people that like vacationed here from like an area, and I'm just like, I'm not trying to meet with you. I feel like if you go to that though, almost everybody you interact with is going to be just pretty cool.
A little bit cut from the similar cloth.
Yeah, just maybe not. Maybe I could be totally wrong. I could be completely wrong. I just think that it's interesting.
Isn't he
kind.
doing like a little small like museum type room of his boxing history in there?
God, I'd love to. When I blew my knee out, dude, I couldn't walk for like the first month. I torched it, bro. I could barely get up to go to the bathroom, and I had 200 and something pound labs. So every time I tried to walk out of the room, they just wanted to like
jump on you.
Yeah, so we had to like hide them. I had to have somebody come in when I had to go to the bathroom and like separate them from rooms, and it was a nightmare. So all I did was lay in the bed, had to eat painkillers because I was dying, and watch Tyson fights. Now, if anybody's ever had painkillers, like I don't know, I'm a weirdo with that shit. It makes me hyper, and it makes me a little like aggressive.
Yeah, you're super ADHD.
So I'm sitting in this bed. Like, bro, I wanted to box so bad. I'm watching all the Tyson classics, because ESPN Classics would show like the blocks. There's like 3 different blocks they show. That's all of his fights. Man, I've probably watched all of those blocks at least 8 times. Like all of his fights, like simultaneously, like all the way through. Because I couldn't do anything. Like I was just sitting in a chair, and there's nothing on during the day, but I'll watch some fucking Tyson fight. I don't care what time of day. I fall in that hole now.
Boxing matches.
I fall in that hole now with my phone. Like I'll be on my phone, and all of a sudden I'll be like, "Oh, this dude's nasty with the kicks." And next thing you know, I'm watching a fucking 5-minute video of this dude knocking people out with kicks. And like,
sorry. Before we go further, we didn't finish that fight recap.
It's the ADHD podcast, bro. I'm sorry.
This is the fucking Bernie ADHD Dyke podcast. His last fight is the only thing we didn't get to. The Shevchenko fucking head kick knockout, amazing. The main fight. Gotta take a quick break. We
Yeah.
got to scare that we were gonna fucking crash again. So
No
we
more
backed out.
crashing, senor. Please
We
don't
backed
crash on
out.
me.
We updated the drinks. I added more to my drink. I got myself a beer. I got some tequila over here. So I got all the drinks. I should probably switch these.
Jesus, I'm gonna send him an Uber.
I got all the drinks.
Oh man. So I changed a little angle too. A little angle of the dangle. It's proportionate to the heat of the meat, in case you didn't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone knows about that.
No, it's a scientific fact though. And I don't remember what we were talking about before.
So I was gonna touch on the main fight of the main card. Was
fights.
One of our hometown boys. Yeah, we'll wrap this up real quick. We'll be done with fights after this. We had one of our hometown boys, one of our Arizona boys, I believe from Yuma, lives in Phoenix, fighting out of Phoenix right now. Henry Cejudo and Marlon Moraes out of Brazil. And it was a fucking banger of a fight, man. They were fucking throwing blows. But it ended up being our hometown boy. Took the fucking belt. He's the champ now at 125 and now 135. He said he was willing to go for 145. He called out anybody in 135 willing to fight.
That's my kind of guy right there. That's
and a lot of people
size.
are like,
I call fucking anybody out. What you want? I'll fucking fluctuate 10 pounds, 15. What do you want to go, up or down?
A lot of people were just, fucking trash talking Cejudo. Like, he came out with a fucking crown and a cape, and he wears his fucking Olympic gold, his gold fucking Olympic.
Where is he out
medal.
of?
He fights out of Phoenix. Out of here, right here. Or
we'll
not
message
right here,
him.
but
I bet he's got a pool or something that he lives at. We'll take care of him on the pool. See what we got to do. What do you got? A pool guy? Who's your pool guy?
Balance your levels, bro. I got you.
No, we don't even need to worry about that. We'll take care of your pool guy that takes care of you. We get it all. We got to talk to him. Get him on the pod. Damn, bro, champ.
You know what? I could actually talk to. I've got some friends that I wrestled with growing up with. Mike Abril, Ricky Abril. They are part owners of La Canasta. If you've ever been to one of those joints out here, one of the Mexican food restaurants, La Canasta. Mike runs the one over on like 7th Avenue, I think, and like Grant. And then
did you say Grand or Grant?
Grant, over in the downtown area.
Oh, okay.
And then it's like it's down by like Jefferson, Washington.
Yeah.
Fucking Grant, bro.
Yeah, no.
Horseback, like free the slaves, let's kill people.
You got a little wonky with the 7th, so I didn't know if you were just dragging Grand into a weird avenue. I didn't know what you were doing.
Just a little wonky and usual.
Right, man, what you got?
But then his brother Ricky he runs the one over on like 40th Street and University. But Mike, I think he coached or something at like GCU for a little bit, like Efren Escudero, a bunch of these all these cats out here that are really good at wrestling, and Henry Cejudo is friends with Mike Abril. So I mean, if we really wanted to pull some strings and see if we can make it happen,
you know what we should do? Totally off topic, almost, because that's how I am.
That's ADHD on to the next one. Fights are over. Just go ahead and shoot your shot.
What if? So my biggest issue that I have every time somebody comes out here, they want the experience. They don't know Arizona. They don't know where to go, what to do. And I could tell you all the bullshit. You have to still do all the bullshit, the Grand Canyon and all that other dumb shit.
Yeah, call it dumb shit, but the Grand Canyon's amazing.
It's amazing, but it's the same shit. Like when we've done it a million times, I've done all this. So, but food spots. So like, one thing that Arizona has, but it's hard to figure out, is barbecue.
Oh, we got some amazing
We got
barbecue.
it, but it's spread. And it's not like you could fuck up and go to a few barbecues and be like, they don't got the barbecue over there. They don't got that barbecue. So you got to find the right ones. And so we should definitely do a map of the best barbecues in each area. Because there is good barbecue in each area, but there's also fucking bad barbecue in each area. And man, it sucks. That's expensive.
You know what? Some of the best barbecue is hard. We can't map it in an area because there's 2 food trucks in particular out there that I know.
But that's okay, because we can link
shit.
their Facebook and all their bullshit and say, hey, just you want to find them on the run.
Yeah.
Because there's the same thing with taco spots. There's so many taco spots out here. You could be fooled. And don't be fooled. Like, don't be fooled when there's a spot down the road that you looked at and you were like, oh, no, it just said tacos on the bill. No, that's the place. And it might not be the place, though. You got to know.
It doesn't matter. If you're in Phoenix, I'm sorry. Just go get some tacos.
Oh, always go get some taco. We didn't
They're just
know,
the
bro.
best.
And I try to tell him, this is so funny. Back where I'm from, there's 2 taco spots. This place called Boloco, which is like the fancy taco spot next to Dartmouth College. And I don't even know if Boloco's still there, so people might kill me on that. But the other place is this place called Moe's. And I'm like, look, man,
Moe's sounds better to me.
I picture fucking Homer drunk at the bar at Moe's. I don't picture.
It's spelled MOE.
I think it is. And I think it's over by where like I used to get my like fucking CDs and shit. So I'm not cool with that, first of all, because that's nostalgic to me. But I always said it. If anybody decided to franchise, and I know a lot of people from back home listen to this podcast, and maybe not, I don't really know. But Chipotle, back home, they don't have one at all.
Yeah.
At all.
Chipotle's solid, man.
It's a staple. And that's where you guys got Five Guys, and you're starting to understand that because like you find these other places that you're like, oh, that's the spot, you know, yada, yada, yada. But what you don't understand is fucking at the end of the day, Five Guys is consistent. It's always Five Guys. And if you're fucking up Five Guys, then people are going to get fired out of there real quick, and they're going to get the real people.
I got to say, I'm just a little irked when you're talking about taco trucks and these bomb tacos like from real Mexican cooks. And then you talk about Chipotle back home. It's like, all right.
No, but that's a money thing. That's a money thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm saying money thing.
As a business,
because
their business plan
you
is
can't
phenomenal.
fuck them up like that. You can't give them a taco spot. Like a real taco spot, they wouldn't understand.
Yeah,
they wouldn't understand that.
We'd literally have to drive a taco truck from Phoenix all the way out there.
And we talked about this before. My friend John, that he came over last week when you were gone, after you left. His dad came out here for his graduation, and they went to a Mexican restaurant, and he was kind of like weirded out because that's not something that they do. You know, he's an old white guy from New Hampshire, so he was like, "This."
Well, we giving our money to these families.
Well, until his wife has she had an accident or something, and she's, you know, fucking. I love John's mom. She is the coolest person. I finally got to have a drink with her, and I didn't know she drank, but she has, you know, she got an accident. She got messed up. Something's wrong with her, and I think that's what it was. But so certain things like, you know, are a little difficult for her.
Yeah, there's definitely a cultural change from East Coast to West Coast.
Old Mexican guy came out, helped her order her food, came out, cut her food up for her, but wasn't like weird about it. You know what I mean? Like just in conversation. You know how they do? They're smooth. And John's dad was like, Keegan, it was just so. I wanted to hug the guy when we were done because I felt so bad that like I was so stubborn about the situation until I realized that like he treated us like family, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want to go back home. Like you might think the lady at the deli is nice back home until you meet some of these people out here. Like the lady that used to cook up my carne asada with the mesquite wood at the spot over at Cave Creek, she would hear my voice ordering food and pop her head up and smile at me, and I would be like extra crispy, and she always knew. She knew. Like me and her were tight. She would never come out and bother us, and I would want her to come. I wish you came out and ate some food with us.
Yeah,
that somebody else bought that spot though.
That's a different like a cultural heritage, like the way people treat other people.
They don't even understand what carne asada is back.
Like Canada, everyone's just so nice.
Yeah, I just started watching some new Netflix show, and I don't remember what it's called, but it's something like mob related. It's got the dude from Sons of Anarchy. One of the guys from Sons of Anarchy with the dark hair, the guy that was like vice president was banging the tranny in the show.
Man, can't think. I'm thinking of the dude with the tattoos on his head.
He was like Jax's stepdad's buddy. That was in love with Gemma, but he did a whole bunch of weird shit. But he's like, it's like kind of like a mob type situation up in Canada, and they're like dealing with the people in New York that are like trying to like come up. It's I don't know. It was kind of late when I started watching it. It didn't look bad, but Black Mirror though, that shit came back.
I love Black Mirror.
Now, before we even start talking about it, they only did 3 episodes. Which is back to the original roots. That's how they started the show.
Yeah, I would say, correct me if I'm wrong, but all their seasons are between like 3 and 6 episodes.
Yeah, but they started with 3. The first 2, I believe, were 3.
Yeah.
Second 2 were 6 I believe, or 6 and 5. I don't remember what it
And then
was.
they shot that fucking
Then they shot.
Bandersnatch.
So Bandersnatch, really, you can keep Bandersnatch. I wasn't really feeling Bandersnatch, but it was cool and nostalgic the way you did it, and it reminded me of the choose your own fantasy books and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, you can keep that shit, and I want 3 or 2. I want 2 more episodes. I want 2 more episodes, because what you did to me in that first episode,
oh no,
you fucked with me. Like, dude, I'm a pretty
wild.
like, all right, I grew up with the last name Dyke. I have plenty of family members that are gay, friends that are gay. So that shit never bothered me whatsoever. But for once in my life, I was so confused on what was not right and wrong. And I think part of the wrong was definitely that guy was married. And so I feel like being married, that something there might have been wrong too.
Guy was married. That was wrong. They also used 2 like masculine black dudes with facial hair and, you know, successful guys, like, to portray.
And cool.
And they're cool. Like, you felt like the homies, they're cool. They purposely, you know, did that to make you feel that way.
But the craziest part about that episode is it had me looking at heterosexual sex like it was wrong.
Yeah. That's what happened. And that's what happened with it.
And it fucked me up, because like, you're looking at 2 very attractive Asian people doing some shit. And I mean, not to even mention that the cool factor of that shit, like fucking imagine actually being able to, like, the game restricts you from doing that part. Like, we're just fucking fighting. How fucking cool would that be?
That was cool.
To be in there fucking handing your homie the Lacerito, just giving it.
Well, I don't want to give too many. I don't want to give spoilers
fuck
away.
them. Fuck them. Go watch Netflix.
People don't know what we're talking about if they haven't watched it yet. But basically, in this episode of Black Mirror, every episode is like not necessarily connected. You can just watch episode to episode, and it's like its own individual story and movie, different actors and everything. So these 2 guys are friends, and they used to play this like Street Fighter. Do you remember
Tekken.
You remember the name of the game, like Street Viper or some shit?
It's like, something like Vipers or some shit.
Yeah, like Strike Vipers or something like that.
Yeah.
Viper Strikers or something.
But
it was like a Street Fighter game, and they played it as like kids, and then fast forward, it says 11 years on the show, and he's like, hey man, he's like, runs into his buddy at the party at a barbecue, and he gives him the newest version of this game, like the Viper Strikers X.
We're like 11 years in the future, where they've got...
Yeah, this is like 2030, 2040.
In-depth VR. But, I mean, there's so much storyline to it. You can see old boy... Like, you got one dude that was always the, like, outgoing guy. Because that's the other thing that you got to understand, is they put so much into that story. Like, you got one guy that was, like... And what I talked to you about the other night on the phone about it is, like, you got one guy that's very closed off. He's not. He really doesn't open up and doesn't have like a whole lot of fun. He loves his woman, and he has, you know, because he has sexual needs and he's attracted to his lady.
Yeah.
But his buddy can coax something out of him that nobody can. As a friend playing that game, when they were just playing the game, like, he met that night, he kept him up fucking all night long.
Yeah.
They played that. You know, even his chick probably couldn't have kept him up. He would have told her like, nah, I got to go to work. But his buddy, it's that side of that playfulness. So when the thing that happened in the game, like, it even made me think further down to it, like, our bonds as you have a best friend that you grew up with, that, like, I have a best friend. I can think right now, Nate Clark, man, me and that dude, like, I don't have to fucking say anything. Like, we could be back together for 15 minutes, and I know goddamn well that it's going to be right back to where we were.
Never skipped a beat.
And there's just certain people in your life that you're gonna hit that level with, and it's not sexual. And even though that game showed a feeling that was sexual, because it co-bonded off your friendship that was way higher than any sexual.
They made a point in the beginning. So what they do is they put on that little piece on the side of their temple, and then when they select their character to go into like the Street Fighter type game, their eyes roll back on their skull, and they're literally, it's not even virtual reality anymore. They're like in another reality inside the game. And they made it a point to describe that. He was like, all right, we're going to fight. Like, are you ready? And he's like jumping like 10 feet in the air, and he's like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, I can feel this. They're like, yeah, the game actually, physical, physical, like the feel and touch actually converts like into your brain. but it resets afterwards. So they made a point to tell you that because you're wondering like they're fucking on the game, like the Asian couple, they're like having sex on the game, but they're actually enjoying it. So they made it a point in the beginning to tell you that they actually have physical touch and
feeling
feel.
all that stuff, and it resets. But I think, because if that game was a real game, like the way that shit was going to be, you weren't going to be able to do that shit. Like the people that coded the shit, you weren't going to be able to do that shit. So the point that they're trying to drive home is that bond that you and that friend have is probably strong, as if not stronger than the bond that the significant other that you eventually pick in your life. It just isn't sexual.
It's a different type of relationship.
But it's a fucking huge relationship. Like he could, like, that dude couldn't experience happiness after that. Neither one of them.
Yeah, it was ruining. It was ruining their relationships and their sex life because it was them together every time.
But that's the other thing is like if none of that shit's working, it's because you're not working right, and it's throwing you like this huge confusion. And the crazier thing that I even thought about after is like, do you think old boy knew that you could do that? And
I think so. I think he roped him into it in the beginning because remember when
even though he wasn't gay.
Remember when they stopped. When they stopped and they hadn't played it, like I don't know what the show played out. It seemed like a month or two that they weren't playing the game together anymore. He's like, it's us, it's our connection. He's like, I tried it with a dude from Sweden. He's okay, but he couldn't fuck as good. Yeah, and I tried this and I tried this.
He said he did it after.
But the way he so nonchalantly said he like approached other people about it on the game definitely makes you feel like he had done it prior, and he knew that with his best friend who he bonded over this video game with as a child was going to be even more a deeper, more like relationship.
I think that dude was just like, because he was like a producer, like this award win, like he had. When you're at that level, and I even said this about that dude that just won all that money, that young 20-something-year-old kid that won all that fucking millions of dollars on that. How do you match that? So like same thing, if you're really fucking good at matching your high, and and you're like, oh, this video game, oh, okay, you can do that, but I need the connectual bond that is on another level, and it's like, oh boy, and I used to play, that shit blew my fucking mind.
Like you said, there's a lot to unpack with that fucking episode. That one episode is so wild.
But to me, that's so crazy because, you put all that thought, like that thought unravels that much out of that hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And like
how
much goes into that? Like what the fuck?
I don't know how they do that Black Mirror show. If there's individual writers or
a couple,
or like he just sits and writes short films.
There's multiple people that write for that show.
Yeah,
but
they just sit and write like not even short films because they're almost, some of them are like almost like a full film.
Did you feel like
an hour and a half? All of them.
Do you feel like it kind of went backwards in time a little bit on this? Like I feel like we were really creeping into the future on the other seasons.
On the other ones, yeah.
Where I feel like we kind of dumbed it down. We played a social level where
but they still did like the eyes roll back in the head, like with the contacts thing. And
they always follow something that's gonna have.
There's a little piece of another episode always in there.
That's what I explained to people is like you don't have to watch any of the other ones. You're just gonna see pieces of technology.
So do you remember the episode? So that first episode, they fucking blew us away with. They were coming out the gates hard in season 5. The second episode, I'm sorry, not the second. The third episode, the Miley Cyrus one. That the
one I told you before you watched it.
Yeah.
I said.
That's the type of shit that happened to Tupac. That's what you said.
I said it. Yeah.
Which I don't think you're wrong about. There's a lot to unpack in that one too. But remember the little Miley Cyrus doll, or not Ashley O or Ashley 2.
Ashley 2. Yeah, Ashley 2.
The little doll. Do you remember the episode earlier? I think it was in earlier seasons, like 2 or 3, where they made your own personal like alarm clock and like home automation.
Oh my!
And they actually cloned you
inside
and put you inside of it. And then once they basically had to train them like, here's what you're doing because you know yourself better than anyone does. But it's actually like his own conscious, independent being living in there.
Yeah.
And she like broke down and got depressed and wouldn't work or anything for a long time because she was trapped inside of this fucking little Siri fucking.
But do you remember that was only part of the episode?
Oh yeah, that episode was those episodes are stupid.
Look
deep.
At your face. Think about that. Like that was not even. That was a fucking layer.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the fucking first peel back.
That's layer. What I'm saying. Like if you saw that one, then that Ashley O episode was.
We need to rank those episodes because I feel like we started watching the SS McAllister or whatever again after because it started that one where they like kind of like Star Trek video game, which again a fucking amazing episode. That's an amazing episode. You go back and watch that again, and you're just like,
that Star Trek one was fucking stupid.
Really, dude? Like, holy shit. But we need to rank those because I feel like there's a few that, what about the one with the dogs or whatever, the
heavy
robot
metal
ones?
Heavy metal.
Boston Dynamics is about to fuck us over with that shit. They need to stop.
It's happening.
It's all that's
not only do they do that, but they put an arm on its back. The Boston Dynamics ones have an arm on the back, opening the doors and shit.
I said no. Spank him. No, do not open that. Bad dog.
Who's a bad boy?
That's the command to stop it.
Boy. Who's a bad boy?
What if that was the shut off? Bad dog.
And it just
that'd be crazy.
Shuts off.
So the second episode was cool though.
Second episode was good. Second episode brought me back.
It wasn't cool.
So we go back to the very first episode where like the prime minister got caught fucking the pig and they fucking...
Okay.
That shit actually happened.
Stop. That episode almost stopped us from watching it.
Yeah. A lot of people say that.
So that's what I want to tell everybody. I'm going to stop right now. Listen, if you've never watched Black Mirror and you go to watch it and you've listened to this podcast or whatever fucking reason, the first episode's weird. But they're all weird, but
it doesn't really have anything to do with the timeline or anything else in the show.
And it's nothing to do with the rest of the show.
It's a weirdo off one.
But it is because when you watch it, that bullshit that happens and when it starts to go through what it tells the guy to do, because we're not going to get into that. I want them to watch this fucking show if they haven't. But that Prime Minister episode, everybody in the house didn't want to watch the episode. They were like, oh, we're done. This is fucking weird. Guy has to fuck a pig. We're not doing this. And so everybody went home and I watched the rest of the episode. And when I watched the rest of the episode, I was like, oh, okay, I see there's a meaning behind it. And that part is totally disgusting. But what you have to understand is like, there's such a big purpose behind that. And you don't see a guy fuck a pig, really. It's not like that. You just need to watch that episode and get on with it. And it's a crazy episode when it's done because you're just like, fuck, we would do that.
Did you know?
We would do that exact thing.
Did you know that actually happened after that episode? In fucking England, a very eerily similar situation ended up happening.
You trying to tell me that Black Mirror is like The Simpsons now?
I'm trying to exactly tell you 100% that it's just like The Simpsons, that it basically called this shit out, which is fucking scary as fuck. So someone who wrote that show may have known about this ahead of time, but I don't know if my definitions of politics are right, but I want to say like a prime minister of some sort. I don't know if that's a thing. Actually got blackmailed on some shit like that in England after the Black Mirror episode came out. So it's kind of weird. Super freaky. That's actually that is what actually got me into that show. Someone told me that first episode is fucking off, like super weird, off the chain shit. Yeah, didn't I show you this last week?
Did you?
Yeah, I think I
don't know
did.
if you showed it to me.
Yeah, when we were talking about fucking Andy Ruiz.
I'm a top.
You gotta go left. There you go.
They always call it. It happens every fucking day. Ooh, butter bang. So, all right. Black Mirror was crazy. The third episode was fucking wild too. The second episode was crazy just because,
that's how we got into this conversation.
Put your fucking phone down when you're driving.
The second episode reminded me a little bit of that first episode. It was like in England, and it really didn't have a ton to do with like the super technological things that Black Mirror usually incorporates. But what it did have, really cool, is that they had an app on there that's similar to Facebook, and they had a character super chilled out in the show that was kind of like your Mark Zuckerberg of it, and it was called Smithereens, and this guy is an Uber driver and holds like some kid that works for that, Smithereens company. He holds him hostage, and the corporation, by the time the FBI and like the whatever type of Secret Service bullshit, FBI type shit they have going on in England, by the time they like figured out the dude's name and were starting to figure out who this fucking the captor was, the Smithereens like president, or not the president, but someone high up in the security of the company, I had already called them like Facebook and was like, hey, we know his name, we know what he does, we know everything about him, he's a driver, blah, blah, blah. It's like they're really trying to signify to us that the government is spying on us through our fucking Facebook.
No, fuck that.
They're trying to show you hats on.
I don't know about that. Because think about this. Why the fuck was Zuckerberg sitting in that room trying to explain to the grand jury this year what Facebook was and stuff? Maybe they're not giving them that fucking information. They're holding it because they're saying, well, wait.
There's
We're more powerful than you.
There's definitely people out there that have the inside information. Just because these 60-year-old, 70-year-old politicians
I think they're showing that
and shit don't know
Zuckerberg and them have more power than the government has on seeing a person as fast as they do.
So you
and
think
knowing
independent agencies are actually a lot more at play
That's
here.
why your data, bro, that's Datagate. Every fucking thing you do, everything you sign up, any app you download, anything is Datagate. Because it's not about the shit you're doing on it. That's why most shit's free. Because they want you to, you let me look at it. Yeah, okay, cool. We're going to look at that. We're going to get your information. We're going to sell it to this company because as many things as we can cross-pollinate. It's the same thing like AI. I told you those Google Home things are fucking AI.
Well, that was really interesting in that third episode that Ashley, remember when the little robot, when you're talking to it, its eyes were like clocking, like loading the information, uploading what you're talking about. And then the clocking would stop and the eyes would go solid and it would speak back to you.
Like it was processing the question,
so
but it was really documenting
like Alexa, when you talk to it, the little ring on the top spins.
Or Google.
Yeah, it spins and then it stops and then it answers you
back.
the
new Apple one is just like fucking like a bloom of flower, I think, when it... I'm serious. It's like a speaker and it like blooms on the... It looks like it's blooming. I want to get one because I like all the Apple products. Fuck it. If I'm going to give the... Whoever, that's the thing. You're selling... You're giving your data... They're just pimping you out on a level like that's extreme because they're like, we're going to make you pay for us. We're going to make you pay us to pimp your data out.
Literally like a lot of the blues greats said, we're selling our souls. We're selling our souls to like basically get, for our own selfish wants and needs.
What was the thing I was listening to the other day about the whole alien phenomenon? And they said, listen, that shit really was real, our government's strong enough that we would suppress everything like they do in China or fucking Russia or whatever. It's not real. It's fake. There are aliens. They're not invading our planet. We have our own shit. We're staging all of it.
They're keeping us on our toes.
No, they said that we already know that there's a whole whatever outside of this. And World War III will be fought outside of this. So how do you make us fight them?
Space Force.
Well, exactly. It starts with Space Force, right? But it also starts with Star Wars shit. It starts with everything always about aliens coming here and attacking us. Nobody wants to come here and attack us. They're intelligent life beings. They don't give a fuck about us. Yeah. So why would they come here and attack us? They're past the part of war. They don't need to do that. That's very primal. But we're still at that level. But we've got technological advances that allow us to do shit that we're probably like Star Wars. Pretty good depiction.
It was ahead of its time.
But if you did it like this, so say like
the Star Wars is like the Civil War.
Have you heard about what Putin wants to do with Chernobyl? He's not happy with I don't know if it was Putin or whoever it was. Maybe not Putin, but whoever the Chernobyl area. They're not happy with the depiction that new show just did on HBO.
Oh, really? I haven't watched. I heard it's good, but I haven't watched it.
It is good. But what they want to do is they want to make it part of their agenda. Right? So how would we do it over here in a free state? You make a fucking movie like Star Wars that we're being attacked, just like they did, but you make it a movie, a theatrical thing that starts to a part, or like right now there's kids being born that their fucking parents and their parents watch that shit. So at a certain point, we're programmed into the aliens are going to come and fight us. But what if they're not mean? And they just are like, dude, we don't have a problem with you. If you look at any of the ancestral script,
let's work together.
They're all fucking cool. Everything that shows, they're all been cool. But no, we're gonna try to fight them, and to get us behind it, you do this. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think it's just weird. Like, there's no way, bro. If there was really alien shit going on out there, you ain't gonna get proof of it. Even with all the phones, they just suppress the shit. They got all your data.
You know what's weird? And I'm gonna cut you off right now on it. Is we started this original point talking about Black Mirror and how in-depth and how crazy it is, and then it turned into a fucking conspiracy theory podcast, all because we were talking about Black Mirror.
But it's true though, man.
That's how powerful that show is. Like, if you really get into it,
our government's not going to tell you. Like, you think they're going to tell you their war process?
I'm gonna do a little shot of this tequila right here.
I'll cheers you.
Cheers on it. Shot tequila. Shout out to Henry Cejudo, one of the hometown boys.
Hey, champ.
winning that champ,
Nope.
champ.
Did I lose?
Oh, I think we lost the camera over here. Yeah, we got some text on the screen. I'm gonna do this shot of tequila. I hope you guys are enjoying the podcast so far. You never know where it's gonna go. We don't know where it's going. We literally, Keegan and I sit down and we sit down in here and we sit and warm up our voice. How now, brown cow? Unique New York.
Yeah,
and then,
we keep it silky smooth.
And then sometime in the middle of me talking and doing whatever, Keegan just starts hitting record and we just start going. And we just talk about whatever. We have no format, no layout.
What did we have? We do have a little bit, though. What did you have?
Yeah, let me look at that in just a second here.
Because, it's been... Hey, shout out again to Billy O'Connor. The Mick.
I'd like to meet that guy.
You're gonna. Billy O'Connor. The Mick. I talked to the Mick the other day. I talked to Mr. Billy. And shout out to him because he's writing some more right now. He's writing another one. And... I'm pretty sure you can Google him. You can look him up on YouTube. You can, there's a bunch of stuff out there, but he is such a great dude. And, he hadn't been feeling well. So hopefully he's feeling great and kicking ass because the dude is one of my favorite people in the world. He told me that he would come in and sit with us the next time he comes into town. So I'm looking forward to that on another level. What'd you have?
That's it. Shout out Billy O'Connor.
Shout out Billy O'Connor. Segue me into some good shit, man.
So I got notes that I took when I was making my first drink when I got here earlier because we never roll into these podcasts with any idea of what we're talking about.
We're gonna start getting better.
We'll get better. We'll start doing something. And hey, any of you guys listening too, comment on the YouTubes, comment on the Facebook. If there's some shit you want us to talk about, fucking tell us and we'll talk about it. And if we talk about it and we don't talk about the shit that you want us to talk about the thing, then you just fucking yell at us. All capitals, exclamation. No, you look like a dumbass doing that, but tell us because we'll talk about everything and anything.
Yeah, all caps.
On my notes here that I just wrote right before we started, I got Black Mirror, UFC 238, wild animal encounters. That's the next one on here. We were talking about wild animal encounters, how crazy nature is and how vicious that shit can be.
Before we start, my sister just posted that. That's a fucking tick. I've seen a lot of ticks in my time. Ooh. Look how small those are. She said there was 4 of them. Let me see if I can get that in the camera. Guys, a lot of you are back there on the East Coast. She just posted these, and whoever put the laughing emoji, it was me. Fuck. That's not funny. Holy shit. Sorry, I meant that to be a wow.
It's not funny. Can you see that? Yeah, it's probably not, I don't know if it's in the focus.
Yeah, you can see it. Check that out. That's a tick. That my sister just posted this. Watch out. Literally thought this was some dirt on our cat, but it was 4 of these tiny ticks. They got a serious problem back there right now.
Back east with Lyme disease and ticks.
Dude, the ticks are out of control. There was a post the other day of a lady that took her dog out for a 5-minute walk, had 62 ticks in its paws. 62, Dakota. That is a fucking insane amount of number. And they are just so bad. Like one of my buddies posted a picture today. And I mean, I say buddy loosely because, I think we're friends on Facebook, but I don't know if Matt Whitty would call me a buddy, but hey, Matt Whitty, I think you're my buddy. I just tried to type Matt buddy and that doesn't work.
Because you guys aren't buddies.
Yeah, we're not buddies like that. But no, he just posted something this morning too. I see if I can find it. Oh, that's Wyatt. Who the fuck?
Yeah, there is a bad problem with ticks back on the East Coast.
Oh, dude, it's crazy.
It's a real thing.
Look at this shit. He just posted this morning. This is a friend of mine or somebody I went to school with. That's just from like a day. That's like a day. He's damn near have Lyme disease, dude. That shit is crazy.
Yeah, you could get Lyme disease. I don't know what the percentage of tick bite is.
I've had a few friends get it, man. It's insane. And so like one of the crazy things from back where we're from is one of our biggest wild animals other than a bear is a moose.
Dude, moose are amazing.
And we have moose that would run around. The problem is we get a lot of like bogs.
I like the smile on your face. We have these things when you start talking because I can tell you're thinking ahead of what you're about to talk about.
We have these things called bogs, and they're like a swamp. And so the moose will get in them and cool off, and they stand in these things, and they're like a marsh, bro. It's fucking nasty. It's like our Everglades. And they get in these things, and they drink from them. And the problem is they get parasites and these worms in their ear that go into their brain. And when they get in their brain, it makes them fucking loopy. It makes them think that they can go out in public. And typically a moose is kind of an elusive animal. It's not going to just like be out in front of you. But these things will start showing up in areas that you don't want them to be. So you got to be careful.
Like inner town, inner city area.
So one year we had one, you know, our school used to sit up on this tall hill. And, you know, a lot of people from Mascoma know it sits up on the tall hill. But down on the bottom of the hill was like 3 or 4 soccer fields, a couple baseball fields, or 2 soccer fields.
Big recreational area.
Yeah. So we used to run the lap. It's a mile around the whole thing. It's a pretty big field. You run a mile around the whole lap, and out of the blue, fucking moose comes out of the woods and starts running the laps with us. So we all got to go back up to the gym, and they have to put this moose down on the property.
No, did they tranquilize it, or did they fucking kill it?
No, they killed it.
Oh, what year is this though?
This is probably like, I was probably like a freshman, so it's probably like 1999, 2000 area.
Yeah. So you could put animals down back then.
Yeah.
If you try to put an animal down now in 2019.
No, fuck that. They still shoot that shit.
Oh, they'll fucking, you're going to go to prison for the rest of your life.
No, we didn't. The game wardens came and did it.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying.
They have to because it has the worms. Once it's got the worms in the brain, bro,
out for Harambe.
You can't fix it. So they get crazy. So one time,
it's a justified reason.
I'm like 14, 13. I'm at my house and we see these babies, and all of a sudden, like when you pull in my driveway, I got this little patch of like wooded area, but it's not very. It's almost as wide, like twice as wide as this room, and then it goes to the lawn, and a moose was in there, and so my stepdad and I went outside and we were looking at the moose, and apparently it got separated from its babies. So the fucking moose crosses the lawn, walks up to my stepdad and I, and I'm getting ready to book it, bro. Like, they're bigger than a fucking horse, and it's like yelling, like screaming. So I'm like, dude, I'm ditching. He's like, don't move.
They're much bigger than a horse.
Yeah, he's like, don't move. Stay still. I'm like, fuck, bro. We're going to get killed by this thing. And
they'll stomp your ass, too.
Bro, it walked right up to us. Comes fucking storming up to us, and I'm standing there just like damn near trembling. And I look over, and it starts sniffing me. And I look over him, and my stepdad's got his fist balled up. And this dude's got the look on his face like, I'm going to knock this fucking moose out. He'd knock this moose out, bro. And he probably would have, he had his hand on my back like he was going to knock the moose out and then pick me up and run like a motherfucker to the house.
What else can you do?
And the moose sniffed us and like blew, like did this, like freaked out, stepped back. And I was like, fuck, here it comes. And then it heard one of its babies across the street, walked fucking down my lawn, across the street. And I'm so pissed because like nowadays, that there'd be like 15 videos of that shit. You know, my mom would have had it. My sister would have had it.
And shit back then.
No, we didn't have no fucking.
You had to be like a upper middle class family to have like a video recorder.
Yeah,
back then.
We didn't have. We weren't.
There's no reason
enough for that shit. Like I didn't even have a camera on my phone with like a camera until I was like 17, 16.
Well, what, you're 4 years older than me. I got one when I was about 15, so you're
I
even
bought
ahead
my
of
own.
me.
I bought my. Oh yeah, I was ahead of everybody in my school. Like there was probably like 2 or 3 people that had their phones, but I was probably one of the only people that was paying for my own. Everybody had the Nokia. I had a Panasonic that you could snap the face off and put different color faces on it, and it was it was just tiny fucking. It was badass, bro. I had the upgraded shit, bro. I paid for all my own stuff. And my mom was cool. She paid for it. My mom paid for it when I was in basketball for like 3 months. She paid for the bill. And after that, I paid her back.
You had to get a job again after basketball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that was the deal. As long as I was on a roll or high honor, or no, it didn't. No, it was on a roll. I had on a roll and I played basketball. I didn't have to pay for my phone. And that was a great deal. I earned it. I was a fucking asshole. That was hard for me. That was more work than work. I would have fucking rather gone and cleaned dishes and shit. Like, but it was cool. So back to animals, man. Give me some animal shit.
Oh, so I had a story one time. At the time, I'm probably about, it's like 2000, I don't know, late or early 10s. So I don't know, I'm like 21 years old or something like that. 21, 22. And I got 2 friends, a couple. And I was like the third wheel, and I told them that we should go out like hiking and swimming in this little like there's like a creek / like river crick. I don't know what you fucking people back east call them.
Maybe a brook.
A brook. Could have been a brook.
I grew up on Brook Road.
There was we went back and we were like swimming in this area, and we're hanging out and everything's pretty normal. And all of a sudden, I go take a piss, and as I'm walking back from taking this piss, I notice like it gets quiet. Everything gets quiet. Like no birds chirping, like fucking crickets, nothing. Everything gets real quiet. And it seemed a little eerie to me. And I'm like looking around. I'm like, I don't know what that is. Is something weird to you guys? Is it just me or is this weird? And they're, cute little couple frolicking in the water over there. And I'm the third wheel by myself, like keeping lookout. And I'm like, yeah, something seems off. And I start looking around. And I have my backpack sitting on a like a picnic blanket over like in this area, and I have a gun in there. And so I start walking over towards my backpack, like I don't know why I'm getting this weird feeling right now, like I'm being watched or something. I look up across the fucking like the pooling area of this little creek or river, and I see from I don't know if you guys have ever seen a mountain lion or a cougar or puma. They're all the same fucking cat.
Not in the wild, I haven't.
And I don't know what is big for one of them. I would say probably 80 pounds is like maybe the upper size of like a large-ish male.
Yep.
They probably get bigger for sure, but I would say most females and stuff are closer to like 50 pounds, 40, 50 pounds, like a medium-sized dog or so. But they're muscular, like a lot more dense than dogs are.
Bro, your cat will whoop your fucking 40, 80-pound dog's ass.
Yeah. So I look up and I'm like scanning across, and we're in like northern Arizona. There's some green algae and grass and bushes and plants, trees, but there's also a lot of gray, all just gray rock, mountainsides and sheer rock and round gray rock. I look over and there's this big ass rock right there, and right over the top of the rock, only about fucking 2 inches above the top of this rock, that's a good 60 feet away from me, 60 to 100 feet. I see these fucking yellow eyes just looking at me from the top of this fucking rock, and I freeze, and I'm like, oh no. And I don't want to like make them fast. It's a cat. You make a fast movement, they're out on your ass.
Yeah.
And cougars or fucking mountain lions, pumas can jump like 50 fucking feet, like 40 feet, 50 feet. If they're like at like a jog pace and they spring and jump forward, they can launch, fucking 30, 40 feet.
You don't feel the move on a cat is to fucking charge it?
No. So what happened?
Really?
What happened here?
Cats
I don't
are
know,
skittish,
man.
bro. Like if you fucking
you know what
all
the
of a sudden
hey, you know what the move
like,
on a cat is? Is you ball up a piece of paper and you throw it and they start playing with it
Laser?
and you run away.
You need a laser on your strap.
You need a laser on your gun, dude.
Over here, bud. Get away from those family.
I fucking turn. I'm looking at the cat, and then I'm eyeing out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, hey. I'm like, guys, get out of the water right there. So right now you look like fish that can't breathe underwater that a cat wants to grab. I'm like, hey, come here. And they're like, what? And I was like, no, just do a, fucking just listen, get out. There's a thing over there. And I'm like sitting there trying to keep eye contact with it because I know like if it knows you see it, they fucking statue.
Oh yeah.
And this thing was just statues staring at me in these little fucking yellow eyes. And it's like the color of this gray rock, a little grayish, brownish, black stripe on it. And I start fucking backing up, and I pick my backpack up off the ground, pull my gun out, fucking flick my safety off. And they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, you guys need to get out.
Tripping on mushrooms,
You guys
bro.
need to get out of the water right now. I'm like, don't just trust me. They get out of the water, and I guess you could be right because you said, would you charge it? They backed out. They realized what I was talking about. They fucking saw it, and it didn't ever move. It looked like a statue. At one point, after like a minute or two of staring over there, my friend was like, is that even an animal? I'm like, no, I can see its ears. Like, I can see everything. And he's from a different angle than I am. And he's like, oh, maybe it is, maybe it's not. I'm like, it for sure is. Well, when they back out of the water, we all start like putting our fucking shoes on and like grabbing our bags, picking up like a picnic blanket and shit. And it starts to fucking walk around the side of the rock. And this motherfucker's tail was like 2 feet long.
Oh my God.
And I was like, that is over 60 pounds, like 80-pound fucking mountain lion or something. It was heavy. Like you could see the weight swinging off like the gut of it, like the stomach and chest of it.
Like
so
it was about 15 rabbits.
It was a big boy. And
fuck that.
It kind of walked around this rock all slow and was like eyeing us, and we're fucking staring at it. And we literally started backing the trail to head back like to the parking area. we started like sideways walking, but like watching it because like the ghosts from fucking Mario that you turn and they fucking start following you and you
Yeah.
spin around, they stop, boo, you know, little boo. There was like that, so we're like keeping our eyes on it as we walk, and that shit was it was a different feeling. I had never encountered like some real fucking nature in that way,
Like
to where like I'm not
predatorial shit.
even joking. Like the fucking birds shut up, the crickets fucking shut
Yeah,
up.
they knew you were about to die.
The water got quiet.
Yeah, they were
like
watching
the
you.
water running into this fucking
Mother
little
Nature
brook
was
area
like, okay, we're about
got
to do it.
quiet, and it was like I knew it for some reason. I was like, I feel like people say they know when the things are watching them. You know when something's staring at you. No, this shit was real. I was like, there's something watching me right now.
That is
something's fucking weird. Like, dude, it was creepy as fuck, but also, you know, great experience. And here we are on the podcast talking about it. Cool.
No, I know that feeling though. It was funny. One time I was on a hike with Crystal, and we were going up Bear Mountain, I believe it's called.
Crystal just made us bagel bites too.
Oh yeah, fuck man, bagel bites.
I haven't had a bagel bite in many years.
But yeah, so Crystal and I are hiking Bear Mountain in Sedona. It's one of their harder hikes. It's not very long, but it's a harder hike. It's like 2.5 miles or something like that. And we're probably over a mile into the hike, a little bit more than that. And we're walking up this cool part. And I don't know, like, you know, my imagination run wild. It's always running wild. So as I'm walking up this like area, I just like did this weird picture of like if a snake popped out, I'd pick this rock up and I'd fucking throw it and like hit it like a frisbee. Yeah, daydreaming, bro. I'm just kind of fucking hiking up this thing. And Crystal's like, hey, we should take a break. So I'm like, oh yeah, cool. There's this little spot right up here. Like you can see it. So we're like walking up. We get to the spot, we walk up to it, and I go out to the edge so you kind of like can like admire the view. And I put my arm up on the rock, the cliff, and below it like indented a little bit right by my armpit. And I look down.
Fucking snake.
5-foot rattlesnake. and his head's right there by my armpit. And I look down and I look right into his black fucking eyes. And he just looks at me and he just looks like, does the like look over type move. Like he shifted his eyes. Like, what are you doing? And I like picked my arm up.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, and I was in a cutoff too, so my armpits were completely exposed. And I just kind of like picked my arm up, turned around, walked off, looked at Crystal. I was like, we got to go. And she's like, what do you mean? We just stopped. And I'm like, no. We got to go. We got to go. Get out of here. And she's like, why are you acting like a weirdo? And I'm like, just go. And like once I got like 10 feet away, I was like, all right, cool. I'm calm down. And then I went back and I took my phone out and I took pictures like a stupid white person that I am. And I like got a bunch of pictures of the snake and he's just looking at me like, dude, what are you doing? And Crystal's like, all right, Keegan, let's get out of here. That's enough. You know, you're being an idiot. And I'm like on this rock and the rock shifts and the fucking snake turns its head at me. And I'm like, yep, time to go. Time to go. And it was like just cool enough that he was in the shade. So he wasn't like, you know, he wasn't trying to kill me. He
wasn't all heated up and hot-headed.
Fuck, that scared me though. But it was weird because I was like thinking about it the whole way up. Like, oh man, if a snake jumps out, bye-bye. Got you.
I'm a, you know, hey, you know, hey, look at me. You know me.
You know me, homie.
I'm gonna fuck this thing up.
You don't want the smoke?
You know what's up. You don't want no smoke. Yeah, bagel bites for the win. We're gonna test my theory that we talked about last time with the hot sauces. I actually have some tequila here this time, and we've got a fairly hot sauce. So I'm gonna douse some with all the hot sauce or both the hot sauces, and then I'll take a little sip of tequila and see if the science behind it works. To
you sure you want me to go get the angry cock sauce?
I don't care. You can get the angry cock sauce. You know what? Hey, if you want, we can do that. It's not a problem. Next weekend when I come, I'm gonna bring I've got a little bag. It looks like a little drug baggie up in the up in the top of your fridge on the side of the door. That the little door you flip open on the door.
Keeping it away from the kids.
The little door before the door, and it's got Naga Mariche peppers in it, and I think there's some Carolina Reapers in there. And these things, I'll bring some next weekend so we can mess with it. You can take a piece about the size of your pinky nail, a little scab of a pepper, if you will.
And experience the other side, like the underside of life.
That thing will light you up. We did it last time with my boy Brandon, the one that we're doing the hot sauce company together. And Brandon started pacing around my kitchen, and he started looking at my walls like he was gonna punch a hole in my wall because his mouth was so hot. And I was like, Brandon, I'm gonna punch you straight in the mouth if you punch a hole in my wall. He's like, I won't do it, but god damn it. And then he grabs my fridge door, flings it open, grabs my milk. He's like, I'll buy you more milk. And he just starts downing milk out of the jug right out of my fucking fridge. And I'm like, yeah, you're gonna owe me some milk, bro. Only I'm the only one who drinks out of the fucking gallon of milk at my house, you know. Other
Dude, I'm
people
telling
can't
you,
do that.
I've seen a buddy, Nate Clark, try to do the gallon in an hour challenge. Bro,
Did we talk about this last time?
I don't think so.
Okay. So
Because that shit don't work. It expands in your stomach too fast.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Funny backstory. So I was in track and not cross country because I don't run distance. I only sprint. I was in track in high school. I tore my quad. Well, I went and had to get MRIs done, and in the MRIs, my quad is in there, but also my testicles and my dick are in the fucking MRI on like one of those plastic MRI sheets. So I go into my woods class the next day, and Mr. Harkler Mr. Carey, both fucking awesome dudes. Taught me a lot of life lessons when I was in high school. I had taken, sorry about that, excuse me. I had taken my MRI, the big plastic sheet that's like a 11 by 18 size sheet, and I stuck it up on top of one of the fluorescent lights in the classroom. And we had the classroom is where we started and did attendance, but you would leave over to the wood shop next door, and then at the end of class, you come back to the classroom, do attendance again, and then class was dismissed. Well, when we were in the wood shop, I had gone and taped my fucking MRI to the fucking ceiling on one of these fucking lights. So when we get back at the end of class, he looks up and he's like, "What is that?" And he's always got a meter stick. He was like a shorter, kind of older guy, awesome woodworker, cool dude. He had like a meter stick in his hand. He's like, "What is that?" And I was like, "That." I'm like, "If you look right there, that's actually, you see that big red spot?" I'm like, "That's the tear in my fucking quad, my quadricep right there. You can see." And if you go just a little bit, and the whole class is leaning forward and looking up at this thing, like, "Okay, I see what you're talking about." I'm like, "And if you look to the left right there, that's actually my left testicle. And then that's my right testicle." And then all of a sudden, he's like, "What the fuck?" And pulls out his meter stick and rips it down off the light. Well, he's going to give me detention for doing that. But detention because I deserved it, but jokingly, it was like, "Dude, you're fucking, what the fuck are you doing? You're getting detention." I was like, "You're not serious. You don't give people detention. You don't give me detention." And it's like, "No, like, I'm not even joking. Like, that's fucking, you shouldn't have done that in class. You're getting detention." And I was like, "Please, dude. Like, I have football practice after school. I can't do detention. Like, I'm going to be in trouble on the fucking team." And he's like, "The only way, you know what? The only way I'll let you out of this is if you chug a gallon of milk during my class and you don't throw it up." So the beginning of class started. I had like, he gave me, I don't remember, this is fucking 15 years ago. He's like, "You have to drink this entire gallon of milk in like the first 15 minutes of class and not throw it up for the entire period," which is like 55 minutes or whatever. And I did it. I drank the
No.
whole fucking gallon of milk. I didn't throw it up. Check this out. When I leave the class, he's like watching me. As soon as I break the corner of the building to where he can't see anymore, I fucking went to the nearest trash can and threw up like a fucking half a gallon of
I was going
milk.
to say, was the class under an hour?
I think they're 55 minutes.
Yeah, because there's no way. Because at an hour, at your core temperature, the heat expand. Unless you got one of them freaky stomachs that's like lower, like the fucking dude that does the hot dog shit.
I don't know if I
The
got something like
gallon of
that
milk-
going on, but I got a freaky stomach.
The
for
gallon
sure.
of milk expands because it curdles,
Yeah.
and your stomach can't hold that much, so it's got to come out. It has to.
Okay.
I watched my buddy get delusional trying that shit. It's not like you can't put a gallon of something that expands in your
and
stomach.
you're right, because I did throw it up about an hour after.
As long as you got out and you made it out of that class,
And I
you
didn't
have
get
to do it.
detention.
Yeah, fuck it. Who cares? Oh man, I had a good one for that too, and I forgot where I was gonna.
I just put hot sauce on top of the hot sauce, and then I'm gonna do a shot of tequila and see if it wipes away the heat. Because then we'll know for sure. Like, sugar's not the move. Bread, probably not the move. Milk, we just talked about it, not the move. I think tequila is what gets rid of the oil of the fucking capsaicin that gets on your tongue.
Should have done it upside down. Just drink it. Don't even fuck around. Fuck.
I can
should
still
have
drink
wrote
it.
I need a little notepad. I had a good one.
Well, to make the next episode even better, and every episode reoccurring after that, Maybe we should have little notepads in front of us.
Yeah, just write shit down because my fucking brain is like, oh yeah, I got some great shit.
Well, the problem is one of us gets on a story. You don't want to interrupt the other one, so you let them talk, and they go past what reminded you of something to talk about, like 5 minutes past it, and then you're like, "Fuck, I don't remember what I was gonna say."
Well,
now.
and I think that's really bagel bites. I mean, have you never had bagel bites?
I tried
Bagel
it one
bites, they'll change your life for the worse. You don't want those. So I don't know. We got anything else? You feeling good? What are you feeling?
time. I don't know, man. I don't think there's anything like. Well, none of it we needed to talk about. So we just talk about everything.
Nothing's ever pressing. I think Toronto's gonna win.
Oh, there we go. Let's touch on that real quick. Let's touch on the Blues and the Bruins. What's that series at? Is it?
I think if the Bruins, yeah, I think they just got to win one more. Right? Should be. If not, it's
Is it
done.
3? Is it 3-2?
Should be.
I think it's 3-2.
Let's see.
Yeah, we already touched on the UFC. We don't need to go back to that. We're touching on the hockeys right now.
So
And the old slapstick.
yeah, which has been yeah, I think they're at game 6. 3-2.
3-2 Bruins. Nice. We expect Bruins to win that.
I hope they do.
Yeah, of course you do. Fucking Boston. And then basketball, while you got your phone out, I might as well touch on that too. Basketball has been fairly exciting. It's 3-1 Raptors right now. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's
3-1
over.
Raptors.
I mean, it better fucking.
You don't think Golden State?
Nope. I think it better be over. I think Kawhi can put it away. Now, a better
Clay?
topic. Fuck that.
Where's Clay?
Fuck it. It don't even matter. Better topic. Hit that record button again. Better topic is the fact that, what did I read the other day? That the Celtics had the opportunity to trade Jaylen Brown for Kawhi Leonard. Danny, you've done a lot of amazing things, but bro, I don't even care what you had to do. Like, we're about to lose Kyrie. We're about to lose all that shit. Fuck Jaylen Brown. You should have took Kawhi Leonard so fast that it made your ass chap. Like, what are you doing, bro? Kawhi Leonard for fucking Jaylen Brown from the Spurs?
Yeah.
Dude, you should have gave it all up. I know you're kicking yourself. They don't want that smoke
Have
with...
to be.
You know what it is? It's probably behind the scenes fucking business. They don't want to smoke with Kawhi's people.
They couldn't stand that laugh. Where's it? Hey,
no, bro.
Play that laugh track just now when I said that. When you go back and watch this, do you really have that shit saved on there right now? Oh man. Oh, off topic. I was down in Rocky Point. I was down in Puerto Penasco recently. Met a real cool dude named Joe. He I believe is a car salesman actually. He's from Cameroon. From Cameroon, came here. His dad went to college or something when he was 5 years old. Came back, or went back to Cameroon, moved back here. So he's got a real appreciation for, for first world life out here and stuff. Super cool guy. But his laugh is
Was he fucking Dracula?
Dude, I'm like, no, not Dracula. Imagine 6'5" black African Dracula. So it was like, oh, you like the Cardinals, right? Yeah, fuck the Patriots. And he's like, you're funny. That shit was gold. I kept trying to make him laugh all night because it made me laugh every time.
Well, my copper cup's empty. You're
Glass
pretty
is
much
empty.
done.
I'm almost out of all my drinks.
It's been a good one. We've been hit with trials and tribulations, but fuck, it don't even matter no more. I just enjoy it. We had some fun today. Thanks for listening. If you took the time, I'm gonna shout out to all my viewership, all my family, all my friends, anybody on YouTube. Shout out to Normwall Music. Those guys have been, I guess they've been listening. Maybe, I don't know if it's 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or the whole podcast, but they've been hitting me up on all of them. They make beats. They do all kinds of different stuff. They make music, but I have no clue who these guys are, but they listen to the podcast. So I'm kind of curious if they listen to the end of the podcast. So I'm going to shut them out right now and see what the business is.
Yeah.
So shout out to you guys, man. I like what you're doing. I like your beats and stuff. I wanted to rip one of those beats the other day when I was driving down the road and record it and send it to him and just be like, man, I like your beats. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
But shout out to Normal Music. Hopefully I'm saying that right. For paying attention to the YouTube page. Man, that's a pain in the ass getting your YouTube page going.
Yeah.
And then I see, but it's all about your content. It's all about what you're doing, because I got a buddy that was doing like pool shit and just posting it, and he's got like 1,300 subscribers.
Keegan does everything behind the scenes over here too. If you guys don't know about that, he's got his whole little setup over here, which isn't it's nothing
Crazy.
superior. It's not anything, but it's cool to me. Definitely cool. And he records it all. Fucking does all the mastering, mixing, syncs it all up with the video, does all that good stuff.
That's why it sounds like shit.
Yeah, that's why it's a fucking piece of shit, because fucking Keegan sucks at all this. But no, he does it as a hobby.
Every now and then it makes it work.
What happened is he's way too ADHD, and he doesn't have a lot of friends. He's kind of a loser, so he just spends a lot of time at home doing this shit. And he's like, I gotta see if I can find a friend to come do this with me. And then he just sits over here and does it all himself. He spends a lot of time doing it.
I pay him $500 just for this to come.
Yeah,
do this.
That's about how much like 7 bagel bites cost. So they're a commodity nowadays, like Twinkies.
500 pesos.
By the way, I picked my daughters up at daycare yesterday, or 2 days ago. Yesterday was Saturday, so that wouldn't make sense. A couple days ago, I picked my daughters up from daycare, and one of the teachers they run up to and always say hi to them and stuff. That's not one of their current teachers at all. Gave him a Twinkie, and my daughter's like, "What is this?" And the teacher's like, "It has cream filling," and my daughter's like, "Oh, cream filling, Daddy! It has cream filling." And I was like, I have failed as a parent. My daughters don't know what a fucking Twinkie is.
Yeah, I know, that's crazy. That's good. No, you've succeeded.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how you look at it.
Throw that shit in the trash, little kid.
Yeah,
What's
true.
bad for
That's
you?
true. That's true. But she should still know what a Twinkie is.
No, that's why. Have you looked around? Everybody just is like, everything's okay. We're just gonna keep eating everything. No, bro, you gotta stop. Like, I ate these bagel bites, but I'm gonna go do 1,000 push-ups right now. I just ate a pound of hot sauce with the bagel bites that like overcook it in my stomach, burn it out. It's bad. It's hard not to.
Does hot sauce burn calories?
I like to believe it does.
I think there's some what's the word I'm looking for? Like thermogenics.
I think
there's some thermogenics happening that are actually burning, like raising your core temperature of your body and making you sweat and burn off more calories.
I like to think that my great-great-grandfather marinated his balls in hot sauce before he produced children, and that's why I down my line that I just enjoy all of the hot sauces.
Well, it seems like it's a little too far, so you guys have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, or night. Thanks for watching the podcast. You guys are fucking awesome.
Yeah, Bernie Dyke podcast out. Thank you guys. Don't forget to spay and neuter your pets and keep an eye on your couch goblins. It's fucking swimming season. Peace.